Ready to go? All right. Good evening, folks. We are pretty much ready to start. Troy, welcome. You are there, Kyle, without a picture. And welcome, Jeff. So without any further ado, I would like to call the Monday, June 22nd meeting of Kimberley City Council to order. By first acknowledging that we are having this meeting on the homeland of our good friends, the Ktunaxa peoples. There is a resolution in the call to order here, Maurice. Do I need to?
Yes.
So everybody with your agenda, if you can see the whereases and the be it resolved. The be it resolved is that the regular meeting be held remotely via WebEx conferencing. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Goodwin. Councillor McBain seconds. Any opposed? The motion is carried. Do we have any late items this evening?
No late items.
Hearing none, move to adopt the agenda. Councillor McBain, thank you. Councillor Roberts seconds. Any opposed? The motion is carried. All right, we have a couple of sets of minutes to adopt. First of all, the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on June the 8th. Mover, please. Councillor Dallum, thank you. And Councillor McBain seconds. Any opposed? The motion is carried. Next up, we have the minutes of the special meeting of council held on June the 11th. Councillor Goodwin moves. Councillor McBain seconds. Any opposed? The motion is carried. Excellent. So first up, under new business, we have a bit of a deja vu here, the 2019 annual report. We need a motion to approve the annual report and direct staff to submit to the Government Finance Officers Association for review under the Canadian Award for Financial Reporting Program. Councillor Oakley moves and Councillor Dallum seconds. Scott, can you make a brief comment on this annual report? You're muted.
All right, I'll get used to this eventually. I'd like to thank staff. It's a great job again. We left a little room for improvement for next year, but it's a great annual report. So in particular, Maurice Leroux, corporate officer, Vicki Lucas, our new executive assistant. They did a great job in compiling a lot of information. Finance department, as always, I see Jim's on the line there. They did a great job. The purpose of the annual report is really to outline what happened in 2019, talk about what's going to happen in 2020, and set goals as far ahead as 2021, and set measures by which our performance can be measured. I'm really happy with the report this year. And I hope that people out there that are watching this on YouTube will immediately go and download the report after this meeting and start reading it.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. And Jim, I guess we have a fairly high standard that's been set here for the financial reporting. I think we've received awards a couple of years in a row. Best of luck as we move into 2019. Councillor Dallum.
So just the only thing I found out of the whole thing that doesn't, may potentially be an error is the difference between a comma and a period. In item number 18, it's 2,866 million. I assume that should be 2.866 million. Otherwise, it's shiny as a mirror.
Thank you for that observation, Councillor Dallum. We have taken note. Any further comments? All right, hearing none. Oh, sorry, Councillor Oakley, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank all of the staff for putting this together. I realize that this is on top of, on the side of their desk for most of the, the work that goes into this. And given what's going on in the city right now, all the work that's been happening with the infrastructure renewal, this is a monumental achievement on top of everything. It's so impressive. thanks, Scott, to you and your team. It's a really amazing job. Thank you.
All right, thanks for those comments, Daryl. We all echo. All right, call the question. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. All right, next up we have the RCMP 2021-20. Pardon?
This one, second.
I checked off the next one, the 2019 Statement of Financial Information. My apologies, Council. What the motion is that the 2019 Statement of Financial Information in the form attached to the Chief Financial Officer's report be approved. Mover, please. Councillor Goodwin, thank you. Councillor Roberts seconds. Any opposed? I can now check that off for the second time. All right, moving on to the RCMP approval in principle. We have two motions here, which we will collectively put together. One is that Council direct the CAO to send the RCMP a letter of approval in principle establishing the contract strength of the Kimberley Municipal Police Unit. And secondly, that Council direct administration and the RCMP NCO to manage member transfers to a full-time equivalent of to an equivalent of 7 members. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dallin, thank you. Councillor McBain seconds. Discussion. All right, hearing none. I think kind of for purposes of those listening or watching on the periphery, could we, Scott, just have a brief comment on the equivalence for the RCMP? If you can get off mute.
Oh,
All right, we seem to be having some technical difficulties with Scott's muting, so I will just make a brief comment. The contract that we have with the RCMP calls for 8 full-time equivalents. We, over the years, because of leaves of absence, etc., have been managing to 7. The City of Kimberley actually budgets for 7, but we have a contingency fund in place in the event that, for whatever reason, we have special costs that may be associated with the with full-time equivalents. If there's any further comments, now's the time to raise your hand. If not, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. All right, next up, we have the City of Kimberley check run in the amount of $1,167,815.61. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Second, Councillor McBain. Any comments or anything that Council wishes to highlight? Councillor Roberts, go ahead.
Yes, fairly ordinary, except for one extremely large check of $738,000, or yeah, $738,000 ish. That is a piece of the cop cans work that they're doing on 4th Avenue.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Anything further? Hearing none. I'll call the question. Any opposed? The motion is carried. All right, next up we have a couple of informational items to receive. Actually, one item to be received, that email from Laura Duncan. Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor McBain. Second, Councillor Dallin. Any comments? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. All right, well, believe it or not, 7:10, without a doubt, this is a record for rolling through the regular or the agenda at a regular meeting. Jeff, thank you for being here. Do you have any questions at all?
Yeah, just a quick question. I noticed just at the beginning of the meeting, right after the call to order, was that resolution with the ministerial order M192. Just curious what prompted that.
I will ask Maurice to provide an answer.
So this is a requirement of the actual ministerial order, which was issued by the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General on June 17. And basically, the order is asking local government to allow the public to, in a certain ways, and create, like, adapt to the whole COVID-19 situation. So at this stage, what we're doing at the City of Kimberley is we are live streaming our regular meeting to YouTube. And we have also provided a phone number for the public to call in during the question period. And we are working with our IT department to upgrade cameras for council chamber and find a way to get council members back into council chambers while still observing this 6 feet, 2 meter social distancing. So we should.
Okay.
We're expecting that we'll have our first council meeting in council chamber at the July 13 meeting with very limited access to the public.
Thank you, Maurice. So basically, it's about meeting protocols in these strange times, Jeff.
Very good. Thank you.
No problem. Anything further? All right. With respect to any committees that council sits on, are there any updates this evening? No updates. I have a couple, if you'll bear with me for a minute or two. Over the past couple of weeks since the last meeting, some of my major activities are I had my investment readiness interview with the Rural Development Institute, with the investment readiness report that they are doing for the East Kootenay region. I've had my weekly sync, so a couple of syncs with Tourism Kimberley Chamber and our major accommodators with respect to activities that we're seeing in town, tourism activities, and whether or not there have been any issues. I've had a couple of resort municipality meetings talking about advocacy that we need to take a close look at as we try to ramp tourism back up again. There was a bootleg board meeting. Status basically on what's happening with bootleg. As you know, bootleg Gap Golf remains closed, and it looks like it will be sometime after the 1st of July before the course is able to open. Days like we had today with this kind of temperature for an extended period of time is certainly going to help. Right now, warm weather and sun is really what bootleg needs. I attended a tourism stakeholder video conference that was put on by our MLA, Doug Klovechuck, who is the tourism critic. It included a lot of the outfitters and basically the stakeholders for tourism in the region to talk about issues and again how reopening is going to take place. I attended the bi-weekly call from the Minister of Municipal Affairs for our Southeast region. I helped open up the farmers market last Thursday by carrying the traditional goat the length of the block on Howard Street and back. It was great this year because the goat was light enough and small enough that I could actually carry it. It made life a little bit easier. It was lots of fun. I'd like to remind council that the Selkirk grad in the forum it will be taking this year is going to be held on Friday at 1 o'clock. It's in the form of a reverse parade that will take place on Rotary Drive between the skateboard park and Archibald Street. So basically the grads in all their splendor will be standing a couple of meters apart for the length of a couple of blocks on Rotary Drive. And parents and community members can drive by, honk their horns, and basically say congratulations to the grads. It's referred to as a reverse parade. So that's Friday at 1 o'clock. If you have an opportunity to do so, I would encourage you to drive by. And last on the item, to all the dads and granddads that are on council, a belated Happy Father's Day. All right, that would be it. What we need now is a motion to go in camera. We have 3 items to deal with in camera this evening. Councillor Dallin moves. Councillor McBain seconds. Any opposed? All right, we will take a minute to clear the slate and head in camera. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you being here this evening, and all the others who are watching on YouTube.
Make sure you close the program completely to get rid of that live bug.
Thanks, Kyle.